are going live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, guys. All right. Nothing on Facebook. I don't know what's going on there. All right. We're live on Facebook, everybody. All right. Hope everyone is having a great week. If you're in Houston, hope you're somewhere safe from this storm. But if you are listening to us, can y'all hear me all right? I went live on
Yeah.
Tuesday and I didn't realize this green button right here is a mute button. So I was talking for a long time and no one could hear me. But we have the green button on today, so we're good. All right, everybody. I am Texas Garden Guy, and we are a Phil Figless podcast this week, but this is still the garden party. This is the garden party, and we want a garden party with you. We talk about the plants that grow and some things you might not know. The garden party. All right, Phil's not here, but Vikram, welcome back and introduce yourself, dude.
Hi, I'm Vikram. I'm the plant prof and other assorted handles depending on where you look. I'm a horticulture professor in Lubbock, USA, and it's also raining here. Destin was talking about how Houston is getting hit by storms, and we're shockingly getting rain up here in the flatlands too.
That's crazy, dude. You're up in the Texas steppes and you're getting rain.
Yep, big angry thunderstorm. It's kind of fun.
Well, enjoy it while you can. Collect some rainwater.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Vikram, it's been a while. Happy to have you back, dude. We take you every chance we can get you. I know you're a busy man. Back on the podcast again is Jeremy from Dirty Punk Gardening. What's going on, dude? How you been? Introduce yourself.
Good. I'm Jeremy, urban gardener in Ohio. You can find me on pretty much all social media platforms under Dirty Punk Gardening.
Nice. Welcome. And then the most handsome man in seed sales, the seed catalog model, Zack Wartiska, Seed Farm Table. Let everybody know where you're from, what you do, dude.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Zach Wartiska out of California. I work for Seedway, which we're a large vegetable seed company. And so we work directly with farmers trying to find the best varieties. California, Arizona is kind of my area of focus.
You cover a lot of ground, dude. You cover a lot of ground in Cali.
Oh, yeah. I think I drove 550 miles yesterday and 300 today, almost 300 today.
Wow. That's just driving from one end of Houston to the other, man. That's not that bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, my regular co-host, Phil's Figs, is not with us tonight. He's the president of his hobby greenhouse club, and so he's doing a talk. So good for him. If y'all make sure you follow Phil's Figs. He's usually here every week. But I was happy to get all y'all on, and I want to see how y'all's garden season was going. I guess we'll start off with Jeremy, man. You're in your greenhouse. You finally got your greenhouse closed in. Everything looks good. A bunch of tomatoes behind, man. How's it going up there?
Good. I still got a lot of work to do in this thing. I got most of it cleared out. You should have seen it before my plant sale. This is just my plants that I still have to get in the ground now. But I still got to get a roof and permanent roof and stuff on this. But yeah, I haven't really gotten much in the ground yet. But I'm not that late. We're in Ohio, so just got to freshen up my beds a little bit, working on all that stuff. So I did get my loofah trellis built.
Oh, nice. Dude, I don't know if y'all don't follow Dirty Punk Gardening, make sure you do so. I use a lot of metal raised beds in my backyard. I've never actually seen someone build metal raised beds. Like I saw you build from scratch from like metal panels. I was like, is that how you built most of your raised beds?
No, a lot of them, like a lot of gardening content creators, companies have sent me a few, but I have two that I built out of roofing metal, just old sheets of roofing metal. And I built one for my loofah last year, and it turned out really nice. So I was like, might as well make another one because my neighbor just gave me a couple sheets of it. So I was like, I could find something to do with that.
Dude, it's inspirational watching you build that. I was like, maybe I could do this, So like, I had to mute Zach. There's some background noise, man. I know it's cool because I know a lot of people. Metal raised beds can be expensive. So if you do have some scrap metal laying around, it's cool that you can actually get something like that built on your own.
Yeah, and I figured a lot of people in rural areas and stuff You know, they probably had sheets of old roofing metal sitting in their garage or something for years. They're like, hey, I can use that.
Oh, for sure. And if not, you can go steal some off some roof. You know, someone's having a pole barn built. You know. I know, Zach. You got a Vigo bed in your backyard, right? You just got one.
Yep. Yeah, I just got the Vigo bed all set up, and yeah, looking forward to it. I got my plants in there, and yeah, excited for this summer here.
What all you got planted in there?
I got some cucumbers. I got tomatoes, some peppers. I got one ghost pepper plant I'm excited about. Never done a ghost pepper plant before. I probably won't even need it, but I just want to grow it and see if I can do it. So I'm excited for that.
That's awesome. I have never had like the best luck with super spicy peppers, just because it takes like it seems like the hotter the pepper, the longer it takes to grow. But because you're in Bakersfield, you might have like the perfect weather for something like that, where you could, you know, overwinter it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know it still gets a little cold in Bakersfield, but like you don't freeze usually, do y'all?
There's usually maybe a couple days a year where we'll get, you know, maybe 4 or 5 hours or something like that. But
yeah,
we're staying right above most of the time over the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
What is the hottest pepper you've ever grown in the greenhouse over there in Texas Tech, Vikram? Do y'all do like experiments with spicy peppers?
You know, I don't think we ever have, but it would be fun to do just to see if we can push the heat on them a little bit. That we grew some serranos and habaneros a couple of years ago, and the bed that we were growing them in was like the irrigation was not great, so they stayed dry and they got super freaking hot. It was awesome. And then we're hot and dry here in the summer. This is like prime time for growing peppers up here in the Panhandle, and so we get lots of oil content, all of that in the peppers, and we can really generate a lot of heat, which is fun or terrible. You know, it just depends.
Yeah.
We it's kind of off topic a little bit, but similar. But last year we I had Thai chilies. That's one I love doing that. It's super good flavor, just quick. But anyways, I made this video. I was trying to come up with something, you know, just cool to make a video about. So I put a headlamp on and I went out at night and I started harvesting the peppers. And so I made this video. Hey, if you guys harvest your peppers at night, it's super spicy. It raises the spice level and this and that, just kind of as a joke. And the next day I got all these messages. Wow, thank you for telling me now. And I'm just like, the internet's powerful, man. That's crazy.
Dude, you gotta be so careful. We gotta be so because like, dude, I made that electroculture video, and
oh gosh,
we're not gonna get into it. We won't have to get into it. But like, I've got so many people messaging me and commenting. The videos get over 1 million views on Instagram.
Jeez.
And 90% of the comments are, it's not a new trend. It's been around for thousands of years. You know, ancient civilizations. Where's your check from Monsanto, dude?
Oh my God.
You know, stuff like that. You know,
I always knew you were a shill.
Yeah, dude. Well, and then the other half of it is you're not doing it wrong. When it comes to electroculture, apparently there's no set in stone method. Everybody does it different, and it doesn't. But it turns out it doesn't matter how you do it because it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. That's my comment. So I don't really get in the comments. I've kind of gotten away from commenting on a bunch of stuff just because, you know, like it's so toxic in the comments, dude. It is so bad, and people are coming after me for being a big ag shill. You know, it's just.
I knew when you posted that video, I was like, I would not want to deal with the comments on this one.
Well, so many people want follow-ups. Like I said, I was gonna do a 30-day follow-up, and I haven't, just because I don't know if I want that kind of heat, dude. Like people are very passionate about stuff like this, dude. They're very.
They always say that like no publicity is bad publicity, and the longer I spend on the internet, the more I disagree. Like there's plenty of bad publicity. Like
100%. Oh, dude. Especially if you go follow Cultivate Elevate, because that's who I originally got the idea from. It's this guy. I'm not going to talk mess. You know, people can believe whatever they want to believe. But just go watch one I've sent you some videos, Vikram. Go watch one Cultivate Elevate video. about how he doesn't use Wi-Fi. Bluetooth is killing brain cells. He only drinks from copper cups. He literally has an adapter for his phone to plug into like an Ethernet cable because he doesn't trust Wi-Fi.
Huh.
I mean, there might be something to it. I don't know enough about it, but he also doesn't seem like a scientist, and he sells stuff. Like that's where I get a little concerned if you're making these claims and they like buy my pearl powder because teeth will grow back, stuff like
You say
that.
teeth? You say
Yes.
teeth will grow back?
100%.
Like a shark, just like extra teeth.
100%, dude.
You guys got so many teeth.
I checked out his page after the last time when you were talking about him, and he was literally telling people to look at the eclipse with no glasses on.
Yes.
And then you went to the comments, and people were talking about how their eyes were burning because they did it, and he made some kind of excuse like it meant that you had some kind of health condition if your eyes were burning after you did it.
Well,
He stared at the sun wrong.
Well, one of his arguments was like, you don't go outside and see birds and cattle putting on goggles to look up at the eclipse. And like, it was just, I was just like, I don't even know how to argue with that. Like, I don't, some of the things.
They're not looking at it. Like,
no, dude.
Yeah.
They don't stare at the sun either.
Like, birds don't be like, oh, there's an eclipse, let's watch it. No, they're just flying around being birds.
And I hate to start another beef. I don't want to start another beef, but like.
No, I want you to. I want you to have more enemies online.
It.
It's good for engagement.
Yeah, I mean, it's because you'll never be able to debate. Like, there's no debating. Like, it's a religion to some of these people. It's cracking me up. Oh, dude. So there's a guy in the chat, Heavenly Hills Homestead. He was on a podcast that I was on recently, and he has like the West Virginia. He has like 12 state records for like West Virginia's like biggest like pumpkin, biggest like kit. He's trying to build. I think some pot company built him a special growing thing so he can make the West Virginia's longest carrot. Like it's like a 10-foot pot. He's trying to grow like the longest carrot.
We can help him.
Yeah, I was
awesome.
on his. I was on his podcast before.
Yeah.
And he was talking about that, how he does those carrots. He said he was doing them. I think he said he was doing them in like a big PVC pipe.
Yes. I need to hook up Zach. So Zach works for Seed Farm Table. They sell carrot seeds, so maybe they can hook you up. Zach, what is the longest? I know you harvest a lot of carrots. What is the longest carrot you've ever seen?
24 inches.
That's a big carrot, dude.
It's a lot of carrot.
Yeah, but it's specific varieties, right? It's not just one that you see, but the specific genetics that just get super long. And
Sorry, I need to correct myself. 38 state records. He goes 38 state records, brother. He goes 3 world records, and he said I don't know if this is a typo or not, but it says 22-foot long carrot. I don't know if that means 22 inches or 22 feet. He said he's trying to grow a 22-foot carrot. Oh my god!
Well, the variety that he grows, I forget what it is, but they are huge. Ask him what the variety is. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, there's
record. I'm looking at the chat too.
certain variety that just grows crazy long.
Oh yeah, no, that's insane. He goes, my state record is 36 inches.
Wow,
so that's pretty big, man. That's pretty big. So I don't know. Does a carrot? Is it a carrot that long? Does it still taste good? Like is that like? Is it still like a good tasting carrot if it's that long?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, maybe the core. It depends, I think. But I mean, I think maybe there could be less of a core, or sometimes the size isn't there, so maybe not the full carrot profile is there. But yeah, it still's got pretty decent flavor.
Yeah, he says 22 feet long. That is what he's going for.
I grow a lot of big carrots, and I've never noticed the difference in the flavor compared to the size.
Yeah. But you got to imagine a 22-foot long carrot. That top is going to taste a little different than the bottom.
If you let them go that long, they might get a little woody.
That's a different month Like you're tasting a different month
Yeah.
of roots. That's like day 1 and day like 90. Like I don't even know how long it would take to grow a carrot that long.
Go carbon date a carrot, like a single carrot.
Oh my god! Well, because carrots grow pretty quick, right? I've never had luck with carrots. They grow pretty quick.
You can. I mean, typically for commercial stuff, we're talking the fastest maybe 105 days and the longest 180 days.
That's from seed to harvest.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's nuts. That's not that long. Well, and you were the first person that ever told me that baby carrots are actually grown as baby carrots. They're not just the chopped up reject carrots. I always
That's right.
I always thought it was just like the carrots that don't look good enough to sell whole. They just ground them up and made them in a bag. I never knew that was the actual how they grow.
Oh yeah,
that's funny.
crazy.
Yeah, that's what I always heard.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for that one time. I posted internet trouble. I posted a video one time that was like, yeah, they use the B team carrots, the leftover carrots, and a friend of mine that's a grower out in California was like, no, they're grown like for like baby carrot production to be sweeter and all that kind of stuff.
That's insane. Definitely. I love baby carrots so much. I love them. No, a 22 foot long would be insane. And I don't know, like, would that require like a bunch of bone meal? Like, would you be like, what kind of fertilizer would you want to give something like that growing 22 feet long? I mean, it's like, what is it? Is it phosphorus for root growth, right? Phosphorus, like a bunch of phosphorus, not phosphorus, nitrogen, right? For the root growth, or would it be phosphorus? I'm getting confused now.
Nitrogen is for leaves.
Yeah,
probably for the tops.
Probably
a little of everything if you want that long.
Yeah,
I always grow great. I grow great carrots, and I don't use anything but compost.
Yeah, you got good compost too. You compost everything,
yeah.
And you
I make
water
my
with
own.
rainwater
I'm very,
too. Is nice.
very particular about it. Yeah, and rainwater.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to some rain here shortly. We've been getting nonstop rain here in the Houston area for like the last 2 weeks or so. Kind of sick of it. The mosquitoes have been just terrible. Do y'all get as dry as it is up there in Lubbock? Do y'all get mosquitoes that bad?
We do. You get a little bit of rain, and they just like spontaneously generate. There's just thousands of mosquitoes. No, they get bad in the summer.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, not as bad as like Houston mosquitoes.
Right.
They're not like pterodactyls, but we definitely get some mosquitoes. They're not here yet, though. I haven't seen any yet.
Right. Oh, I know. I was going to ask you about. So we had you posted a story about one of your ex-students that was
current student. Yeah.
He's is this for his master's program or what is it?
So he's an undergrad actually. He's about to get into his senior year, and he's about to start on his like honors thesis, his senior thesis or whatever. So he's spending the summer studying abroad in Japan, and his senior thesis is going to be about the ethnobotany of like Japanese culture, about Japanese plants. Oh. And so he's like, he's taking classes over there and doing some like immersion programs and stuff like that. His family's Japanese, or part of his family's Japanese, and but one of the things he's going to do is go on some cool tours and look at like, some of the oldest bonsai plants in the world and like the cherry trees and a lot of the other like culturally significant plants to Japan. And then we're going to see about like part of the project that we're talking about is like, how do we cultivate those things for like Japanese folks living in the US? Like what are some considerations if you wanted to grow some of those same kinds of plants here and stuff like that. So he's looking at, the cultural importance and a lot of the practices that goes into it. And some of those bonsai trees are hundreds or thousands of years old, and just really cool stuff.
No, whenever you put ethnobotany, I was like, this could go a bunch of different ways. I have no idea what this means. I was thinking like these white people brought these plants over here or something like they should. I was thinking like these colonizer plants or something like that.
No, it's almost the opposite. Actually, it's like looking at how do cultures, throughout time, sort of interact with the plants that are native to their area.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I Googled what it meant, and I was like, oh, thank God. I was like...
So no, it's cool, and like such a cool opportunity too. Like I think more people should, if they can. I know it's hard, but studying abroad is such a cool deal, and like getting to see like how your field works in different cultures, different places. Like it's a good deal.
Well, that's fantastic. No, that's good for him, man. That would be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I would love to go check that out. I've gotten into bonsai recently. I'm gonna mute you, Zach. I'm gonna mute you.
Yeah.
I've gotten into bonsai lately, and I went to a bonsai convention, an expo here in the Houston area, less than a month ago now, and it was so cool getting to see all the exhibits. And people will drive those in from like 2 or 3 states away. You think of like this little tiny tree, but you find out that tree's like 50 years old. It's so crazy, and then the time it takes to do all the pruning and trimming. And the Japanese culture is so cool. The way I just got done watching Shogun on Hulu. I can't recommend watching Shogun enough. That's a really cool show. And so it was inspiring. Like to go, I would love to go to Japan sometime. I think I would starve because I'm a very picky eater. But it looks like fun.
Man, the food in Japan, I would love it. That's like, I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I'm not a traveler, but Japan is the one place that I've always wanted to go.
So cool. Yeah. And their culture surrounding like landscapes and plants and gardening is so interesting, because like their whole deal, or not, that's not the whole deal, but a major part of like garden culture there, and like landscape culture, is how do we recreate natural looking landscapes as well as we can? Like, how can we match our like trees in our yards and trees in our parks as much as possible to like trees in nature and forests? So they'll do things like plant them in angles, so they'll kind of grow and twist like a tree in a forest might, trying to like escape competition. And here, when they tell you to plant a tree, they're like, okay, dig a hole 2 to 5 times the size, or 1.5 to 3 times the size of the root ball, and do all this stuff. There, it's like, how do we disturb the soil as little as possible? Like, how do we make it look like this tree has always been here? And I just think that's such a cool way to like interact with the land, interact with nature and the landscape, and kind of marry those together.
Jeremy, Alicia is talking trash. She goes, "Don't believe him. I can't get him to go to the town 7 miles away." That's what she just commented.
That's what, I don't want to go anywhere but Japan. That is like it. That's the only place I ever really wanted to go.
Yeah, I think I would do better in like Eastern Europe or something like that. Like, I would do really good in Austria and Germany. Really good beer, sausage were good.
Schnitzel.
I'm not even schnitzel. I don't even do like fermented stuff really, like sauerkraut. If it smells weird, I can't do it. Like, the smell is just will throw me off. But I love Brussels. Like, it's weird, because like I don't like cabbage, but I like Brussels sprouts. But the smell is very similar. It's very strange. I don't know. It's weird.
Love cabbage and sauerkraut. I'm Polish, so grew up eating it.
Oh my God! I keep pushing unmute on Zach, and there's just babies screaming in the background.
It just started pouring here. I was trying to I'm hearing it through my headphones.
It might be me, dude. Y'all might be hearing my rain coming through my microphone, because it is pouring pretty bad now. I'm checking out the radar as I go. My wife will tell me if the house starts blowing down, but I mean, this is what's coming through Houston right now. They're saying in certain parts of Houston, they're getting like 90-mile-an-hour winds. I'm on the very bottom though, and it's going through super fast. And so I went out in the yard. Anytime it's gonna like be heavy winds, anything 30, 40 mile an hour plus, I go take all the hummingbird feeders down, the hanging baskets and stuff. I don't want like glass from a hummingbird. Like, I like to walk around barefoot. So if I have broken hummingbird feeder glass in the yard, it's not good. So it's just the thing I got to do every time it gets really windy, which it's been super windy this spring.
Since that's like an average Tuesday here.
We've had like 3 tornado warnings here.
Yeah. Y'all get tornadoes up there?
No, it's crazy because we're in like the foothills of the mountains here, so tornadoes are like unheard of. like so far this year, we've already had like 3 tornado warnings. I mean, they'll happen, but it is extremely rare. Like it hasn't happened like really locally to me as far as it's as long as I've been alive. But the weather's been crazy. Like I'm lucky to finish a project at all. I got something done today, and I was shocked because it just didn't start raining at some point.
Oh yeah. No, I've been doing the thing where I come home from work, and if I can mow, like if it's a good day, like it's usually the days I have to work all day inside the office are like the nicest days outside. And then the days when I'm off are the most nasty, disgusting days. So like any day when I'm at work, I come home and I try to mow and weed eat like as soon as I get home, like as quick as possible before like it gets dark. Like last night I was putting out some fertilizer in the dark. Like I was putting out fertilizer in the dark, and I had caterpillars already, man. I had caterpillars all over my tomatoes. I waited a long time to spray anything this year. I hadn't sprayed anything. Usually I'm already like on a weekly basis spraying, but usually like my neem oil and liquid fertilizer and stuff like that from Microlife and stuff. But I waited a long time this year, and I had caterpillars all over my tomatoes, and it was bad. So I had to get out there with some BT and spray the hell out of them. I did it in the dark last night. They were infested. It was bad.
Do you get hotter caterpillars if you spray at night? Like you could tell people that. You should make something up about that. Like,
oh yeah,
they're way spicier if you spray them at night.
Right. If you go out, yeah, yes. If you go out there with the I don't know if all caterpillars will glow under the black light. Most of them do. Like the green hornworms definitely do. But these were the little black and white striped caterpillars. They were kind of smaller, about a half an inch or smaller. And so I was like, yep, it's time to get some BT out there. Time to get some BT and, hit them hard. And so I threw in some liquid fertilizer and some neem oil while I was at it. And I was like, we'll hit them with all, hit them from all sides tonight because it's bad. I'm not trying to lose all my tomatoes.
I don't really have anything that bothers my tomatoes.
Yeah.
We do have hornworms, but it's rare that I see one. But the only thing I really ever get is some aphids, but I just blast them with the hose and they're gone.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to worry about is disease. Like it can be a problem when we just get heavy rains for days at a time. So.
Yeah. No, that's why I like doing this podcast, because talking to people from California, Ohio, Lubbock, because you can hear like what kind of pests are they dealing with here? What kind of pests are they dealing here? What's their methods of doing this? I hear because we have such a long growing season, we get all the pests, man. Like aphids don't bother me as much. It's usually what brings it with them. Like I'll start getting ants. The ants love the aphids, so I start getting ants infesting like my okra, my tomatoes. I'll get ants all over, and they'll start eating at stuff. I should have taken a picture of it, but I went out and picked a tomato the other day, and I turned it around, and it had a bunch of little worms like just coming out of it, and I was like, oh, like I was just like, oh yeah, I was like, dude, it's time to spray. It's time to spray. So it's just yeah, my goodness. Yeah. So if Heavenly Hills is in West Virginia, he's not too far from you, Jeremy, at all.
Yeah, he's still pretty far. He's down towards the lower end of West Virginia, I think.
Right. Okay.
Actually, I'm right on the river. Like I can walk to the river in 5 minutes. So right across the river is West Virginia. So I'm very close to West Virginia, not super close to him now.
Okay. I got you. It's so weird when you hear like
I'm like right at the intersection PA, West Virginia and Ohio.
Yeah, but it's so cool because like I spent some time like I was in Sioux City, and there was like a river, and Sioux City has 3 states in it. It has Nebraska, it has Iowa, and it has South Dakota. And so it's cool. Like when you go up north, I'm in Texas, it's just Texas everywhere. When you go to other when you go to other places, it's like it's Nebraska's right there, or like West Virginia's right there. It's kind of cool. You can actually go visit somewhere else.
Yeah. Destin, It's just Texas everywhere would be a dope T-shirt of just some guy standing out in the field. Like, it's just Texas everywhere.
Jeremy, as my merch guy, we need to write that down. We need to brainstorm. Jeremy has really cool merch. Jeremy, Dirty Punk Gardening has really cool merch, and I've been wanting. I've done my own hats before, but it was super expensive to do it on my end, and I can't handle the shipping and the logistics and the inventory and everything. I don't have the infrastructure for it, and so I'm working with Jeremy. We're going to try to do something where y'all can like just order my hats from Jeremy, and they can handle the shipping. I don't need to make a whole bunch of money. I just want to be able to get hats out and stuff like that, you know. And so
that's what Lish has actually been working on that a lot. And you got us kind of, got our brains going. So it's going to be something, once we get it down, it's going to be something that we're going to like offer to, generally more so like the content creators and stuff who want to do a little merch, but like you said, don't want to handle, boxes of shirts and hats and stuff.
That's
so we
cool.
can just kind of handle that for them.
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're pretty close to moving on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would rather y'all make a little bit more money on it than pay someone else, whatever. And y'all's prices are better than most people's. Like
a lot of creators go through like these drop ship companies or like the print on demand companies, and they're like selling the t-shirts are almost $50.
Yeah,
because they're trying to make a few bucks on them, but they're still not making much money. Like the company they're ordering from is getting all the money. So we want to make it so that the people can actually make a few bucks on it, and their customers aren't expected to pay like a stupid amount of money for it. Right. Well, so that they'll actually sell something. Like, how many people are paying $50 for a t-shirt? Oh yeah, no, yeah. I went to do it was through Spring. I went to go do a t-shirt design through Spring, and it ended up being like $35 a shirt, and like it was just like super expensive.
Yeah,
I was
like,
crazy. And then you're paying for shipping and everything. It adds up, man. It really.
And
adds
you never
up.
know what the print quality is going to be on those kind of shirts either.
Right.
It's a crapshoot for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten some.
If somebody gets their shirt and they wash it once and the print comes off, they're putting that on you, not the company that shipped them the shirt.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I ordered some proofs for me and my wife, and it is already coming off. It's been like a year, and it's already washing off.
Yeah, that's what they generally do.
That sucks. Yeah, I've used Redbubble, and it's sometimes I'll get a shirt, or like I'll have someone get a shirt that's excellent, like great. And then half the time it's like, man, this cracked in 2 weeks. The paint's cracking. Like it's. So, man, when you get there, like, we need to talk because I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, I've got a sticker guy. I've got a sticker guy already who does my stickers. And I need to send y'all. I ordered me and Phil the garden party stickers, and it's got our logo on it. I need to send y'all.
Make me some. I want some.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll send you some. Yeah, but my dude out in California, Vinyl Bandits. He makes stickers. He can do the rounds, the squares, and he does them so cheap. He even made my banner. Like for my booth, he made my business cards. He does a really good job with those stickers, and he does really good deals. And so that's how I use my stickers. But like, he doesn't do shirts and stuff like that either. So I'm happy we can try to make something work with y'all. And I don't have the brain bandwidth to do shipping and inventory. Zach, you do hats, so like, who do you do like your? Is it pretty expensive?
It can be. I try to do. I do it separately. I buy the hats online. I get my patches online. Then I take them to a place here that sews them on. So it just depends on. I look for deals on the hats, and then sometimes though I find like a super cool hat I want to do, and you got to buy like 500 of them to get it down to a price that you want. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can do 500 right now, but. So, but yeah, it's
and that's like with us when we're doing it, we have wholesale account.
Yeah.
So we get all our stuff wholesale, and with anybody that would want to work with us or any of our customers, we always give people wholesale prices. We don't mark our stuff up, so that gives you guys more room to profit off that stuff. So
yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, and I don't have like minimum quantities I have to order. Like I don't have to price breaks. I just get wholesale prices for everything.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and this is a little inside baseball. I'm sorry for if anyone's bored by this. These are the ones I had made last time, and I think this is the Richardson.
Richardson.
It's the wicking. It's the wicking like unstructured 5-panel or whatever, and it was like $25 a hat.
Yeah.
And it's
Wow.
I mean, unless you buy a bunch of them, it's so hard to do it, you know. So like I'm looking forward to like what we can do with Jeremy and his wife, and I happily support the Garden Beer family. You know, get some of that going too. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So no, for sure, man. No, I'm happy to do that. But we'll get off the topic of that. I was going to ask you, Vikram, since we were talking about, you know, growing hot peppers in the greenhouse. Is there anything y'all are growing this year? I think I might have asked you last time. Is there anything y'all are growing this year? I know y'all have those grafted apples that are doing well, right? The ones that y'all are trying to bring back.
Yeah. So just as the elevator pitch for that, or just a review for, you know, whoever, we found a bunch of old apple varieties from some growers in out in the Carolinas and up in Washington, and we're grafting them, trying to get them started. They're old Texas apple varieties that were grown here for a long time that have not been grown in the state in like 80 years or something, like a long time.
Wow.
And we had students do it. So we had a like tree grafting workshop with a class. So college students came and did it. And we lost a few of them just because they're temperamental. But we had some like that really took pretty well. And we've grafted them, not just the ones that I sent you a picture of the, you know, top grafts. But we did some bud grafting and some other stuff on mature trees. And so like there's, I don't remember, it's Wolf. I'm going to have to remember what the variety is. But there's this apple that is one of the varieties that's this big. It's a 1 pound apple.
Oh my God.
And like I've seen pictures of people holding it with both hands, and it like fills up their whole hand. It's like Wolf River or Wolf something. I don't remember offhand, but
And these are ones that can do well in Texas. They have low chill
Mhm.
hours. So
yeah, low chill or moderate chill hour.
So when I see you at TNLA in August, you're going to bring me a couple so I can
I'll
experiment.
see what I can do. Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Because did y'all put them in a dwarf rootstock, or how'd y'all do them?
So we've got some on. So there's like an M26, which is like a true dwarfing rootstock. So that's going to be like a 4 to 7 foot tall tree. So you could grow it like a patio apple, or, you know, just in the ground.
Yeah.
And then there's one called M111, which is the most common like apple rootstock. And that's a semi-dwarf. So you're going to get a tree that's like usually 9 to 13, 14 feet tall.
Not typically.
So they're intended to be easier to harvest.
Yeah. But it's not typically like a container. Like the M whatever, the first one is going to be more of, yeah. I was telling people, you know, if you want to try to grow stuff like, you know, fruit trees on your patio in containers, make sure you look for like a true dwarf stock, you know, because you can definitely get stuff grafted on, you know, to those dwarf stocks.
Well, and honestly, so like I ordered them. There's a bunch of growers that sell these rootstocks, but I found one up in Montana that I bought our rootstocks from, and it's like $5 a rootstock. Like, it's really not that much. They're fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
And if you watch a few videos, practice a little bit, like the success rate's pretty high. And so like I think it's something that a lot of people could play with just in their own gardens. It's a fun kind of, you know, different thing. And you can I'm planning on this summer, since I've got a little more time after the semester, doing a series on like tree grafting and bless you. Tree grafting and some of these other techniques and different types of grafts and things like that. I'm starting to get more into YouTube, so I'm looking at producing some long form content, and just like how can you do it on your apple tree at home or your pear tree at home or whatever, and what are some different ideas if you do get the fortune to cut down your Bradford pear, how do you graft on like fruiting pears to it, you know?
Is that a thing you can do with Bradford pears? Could you cut them down and graft onto them like a 20th century or whatever?
Yeah. So
Turn your Wi-Fi
they
off.
actually make pretty good rootstocks. Yeah, they make pretty good rootstocks. So if you cut them at like 2 feet, when you cut them down, you can chip bud or top bud to them, and actually they'll take pretty well.
Nice. Jeremy, do you do a lot of fruit trees like in your little lot, or do you have any fruit trees really?
I don't do any. Sorry, my connection kind of dropped there for a second.
Oh, you
I don't, but you and Phil kind of talked me into two things. I think I'm going to try fig, and I think I'm going to try okra.
Yeah. Another thing I would recommend is try pomegranates. If you're in Ohio, I bet you can do pomegranates. I bet you could do.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh no, most of them are the Russian varieties.
They would survive the winter?
Yes. Oh, they
Mhm.
love the
Oh,
winter.
I didn't realize there were Russian varieties. of
Oh
pomegranates.
yes. No, you want to talk Vikram or Phil or Zach? You want to talk about pomegranates?
They're
Go
small
ahead.
trees.
No, they'll get huge.
Big.
Oh
big.
no! See, I can't. I gotta. I don't have space for a big tree. Like a fig, I could find a place for that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be able to do a big tree.
Well, like so, I've got mine in a 2x2 little raised metal thing, and they'll get as big as you let them, pretty much. They're not grafted. They're really easy to propagate. Like that's something you could propagate and sell, pomegranate trees, and they actually need those. They need the chill hours. Most of them, like a Parfianka, those Russian figs with their pomegranates, would do really well. I bet in Ohio.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they
surprisingly
plant
quick.
they plant quite a bit out here around around a lot of fields. They're cheap and they're good wind breaks. So like they planted them a long time ago, and now they're all over the place.
Yeah. Do they have to go and spray? Because my dad's at the age where he tells me the same story like all the time, and he's really into pomegranates. Like he got me into them, and he's probably got about 30 of them at his house.
Oh,
But
wow.
that's because they're so easy to propagate. Like they're really really easy to propagate. And so he was telling me that in places like India, they have to actually spray a chemical on them to make them lose their leaves. Like because they need the freeze to make them drop the leaves to like initiate like new buds. Because in India they don't get that cold temperatures. They have to spray something on them to make them defoliate, and that's how they get the pomegranates. That's the story he tells me. But does that make sense, Vikram? Does that make sense, Vikram?
Yeah, it could. I think so. I think pomegranates fruit on. If I could be wrong about this, I don't want to lie to you, but I think
On
they
new
fruit
growth.
on new
Yeah.
wood. They
Yes.
fruit on new wood.
Yeah.
So if you like, if they never drop their leaves, it probably slows down new growth in the next season. Because I mean, there's not a reason to push a ton of new growth if you've already got plenty of leaves. So it makes some sense to me that if you knock the leaves off, and they're native to places like the mountains of Afghanistan and southern Russia, like they grow in cold places, and yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It was one of the things I was like one of my recommendations for what people should grow if they're tired of losing their citrus every year. Like put the pomegranate because they grow like wildfire, dude. The only problem is they're thorny as hell. They are like the ones I've got are so thorny. Anytime you get in there, dude, they will tear you up your arms. Like they are super thorny. Super thorny.
We've got a bunch growing out at our research farm at Tech, and one of my colleagues is working on that. So here in probably October, I'll start getting like pomegranates left on my desk, which I'm not mad at. Right now it's strawberries. The strawberries are coming off right now, and so they'll
Nice.
I'll come into like a flat of strawberries, and I'm like, this is nice. I have no idea what to do with 15 pints of strawberries, but and then
Like,
we
you start making
pomegranate.
jelly. You need some jelly, man. Make some
Yeah.
jelly or freeze them. Dude, I just want to put a bunch of pints of strawberries on my desk. I'd be freaking excited.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's every like 4 days, and like okay, it's a lot.
You just need to go on Fridays and sit on the corner and sell
Yeah.
bushels of strawberries. What you need to do.
There you go.
Or sell them to students. Have like a little mini CSA and then put it back in the Texas Tech Beer Fund. Whatever y'all need to do.
Which we officially don't have. If anyone that works with me is listening, there's no official beer fund
Let's
as
be
far
fair.
as far as you know.
Let's be honest. Nobody from Texas Tech University is watching my podcast. They're like, this idiot again. Why does Vikram keep going on his podcast? Oh my goodness. Well,
Do any of you guys ever winter your peppers?
I do.
I mean, you guys got it would be easy for you guys. You have something because I got my first one this year, first one that was ever successful for me, a jalapeno, and I've already got peppers growing on that thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm shocked because this is what my other pepper plants look like right now. So it's kind of validated the effort that I put into it so far.
100%.
Because if I could get like habaneros and stuff like that to start fruiting that early, like it would be a complete game changer for me.
So my mild peppers, I do like my serranos and my Thai cayennes and stuff. I'll do those in the raised bed because I can find those every year. They grow really fast. I don't need to worry about overwintering them. But stuff like, your cayennes, your rarer varieties, the super hots, I do those in like usually 3-gallon containers, and then I'll bump them up to like 15-gallon containers. Then in the wintertime, I'll go ahead and crop them back to like where they start getting woody. And then I'll either put them in my garage or put them in the greenhouse and just let them go dormant all winter. And then when it starts warming up, I bring them back out. And I have had probably up to like a 50, like if I do 10, 5 of them make it. It's about a 50% overwintering rate with a very mild winter down here. You know what I mean? So, but I don't dig them up. You dug yours up, and I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah. It's very difficult for me because I got to dig them up, take them in the basement, try to keep them like dormant but alive, which you never know. They're dormant. You don't know if they're going to come back or not. So I had one this year. Next year, I'm going to try just kind of keeping some leaves on them, treating them more like a house plant.
Yeah.
Keep them like in the window and see if I can do better that way because the dormancy thing just hasn't worked out for me very well.
Yeah, I would try growing them in just big, like not even putting them in your raised beds. I've had success growing peppers and leaving them in 3-gallon pots for like two years straight, and not digging them up, not potting them or anything like that. So maybe try like a 3 to 5-gallon container and just growing like your new peppers from this year in those 3 or 5-gallon containers, and don't dig them up. Just leave them in those containers. You'd be surprised how long they can stay in those containers, man. Peppers and tomatoes don't get as crazy root systems. Like they're not as like peppers, not as bad as tomatoes anyway. So it may be worth a try.
My peppers get big.
Yeah.
They get real big.
Well, you got the good compost.
So I got to cut them down right because I have limited space where I could take them in the house and like do 8 pepper plants. I got to kind of keep them pretty compact. So that's my issue.
Yeah. This is the second
We
time
definitely can't put them in the greenhouse.
Oh yeah. Is this the second time I've heard of this? Of the Aji Charapita pepper. Have y'all heard of that one before? It's supposed to be like a native pepper. It almost looks like a bird's eye pepper. Second time I've heard about this pepper that Heavenly Hills is talking about. Cheryl was asking about what kind of texture would that giant apple be? Like, have you seen one in person, or have you just seen the pictures?
I have not seen one in person. I've heard they're good. Like that was my concern too. Like, would it be super mealy at that point? But I've heard it's good, and I don't know specifically what the texture is going to be like. I'm hoping we can get one to go so that here in a couple of years I can report back on that. But from what I've read online and just from what I've heard people talking about, like in the places where they're grown commonly, they're pretty prized. So people seem to like them. It's not like, a red delicious, which only one of those things is true. They are red, but I don't know, man. I think that a lot of times with these like giant fruits, sometimes I think about the same thing. Like, okay, but what's that like eating experience going to be like? Because I feel like a lot of times I don't know.
No, I mean, and is that something y'all deal with, like in the seed trade? You're giving up size for flavor and flavor for size. Is that a thing y'all deal with a lot, Zach?
Yeah, mainly a lot of stuff that we deal with is when they're breeding in resistances. certain crops, then you're giving up usually a flavor or size or plant habitat or something like that. But usually it's when you're bringing something in with a disease resistance, something from something wild. That's where you give something up from the other side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But we were talking about grafting. You're talking about the grafting, and I deal with a lot of watermelons. And watermelon grafting is really big, and I'm upset right now because I planted grafted watermelons today, and I forgot to bring some. But I wanted to show you guys on camera. You guys probably seen them before, but they're super. I mean, they're really cool. They're we're using either a wild watermelon or a squash rootstock, and
really?
when they plant those in the field, sometimes they don't take. You're talking about the success rate. So you usually lose a couple percent. They don't take. So sometimes you see this huge squash plant in the field. I had one of my growers today. He's like, "Hey, I was walking in the field and I got all this the squash fruit and huge plant." I said, "Well, just cut that off, and then your watermelon will should take over and start keep going." But it's just it's interesting. But we use those grafting techniques, for nematode and for fusarium resistance. So that's why they use those in the watermelons. And some people say that using like that grafting can change the flavor. If you're using a squash rootstock or something like that, it can change the flavor or the texture. And I don't know if that's true, but some people, do say that they can taste the difference.
That's very interesting. I mean, a lot of people don't know that like squash, pumpkins, watermelon, cucumbers, they're all in the cucurbit family. They're all, when people say squash vine borer, does it just go for squash? No, it'll go after pumpkins. It'll go after watermelons. I mean, it'll go after anything. So like, it's crazy to think about how many different variants there are of that family. It's pretty wild. And are they grafting like as transplants and then planting them? Is that how it works? I don't know the process.
Yeah, like I said, I wish I had one, but I mean, this is just a regular watermelon transplant, and they would take the squash transplant, they would take this, they would literally cut it right, and then pin it on to the rootstock.
And when it's that small, it's super easy to graft on, right? Is it pretty easy?
Yeah, because they're still tender, but they're also tender, so you got to kind of take care of them, during the healing stage at the greenhouse. But yeah, I mean, by the time they get out to the field and everything, again, most of that stuff is pretty hardy and hardened off to get right into the field for planting.
Heavenly Hills, man, he's tracking me up. So he grafts his melons onto either gourd rootstock or butternut squash rootstock, which makes sense because isn't butternut supposed to be like SVB resistant for the most part?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It was either butternut or acorn squash, but he's trying to go for a world record of a 350-pound watermelon this year. That's insane, dude. That is so crazy.
I've never been that good at
350-pound watermelon or pumpkin?
Watermelon, it sounds like.
Man.
That's huge.
I like to taste it.
You could live in that. Like, it's bigger than some apartments. Like, I don't.
Oh, dude. He does some wild stuff, man. Like, go check out Heavenly Hills Homestead. He's going to be on the podcast soon. Okay. But yes, no, he does some wild stuff. He was like he had actually DM'd me today. He was like, "Hey man, I think his brand is like extreme gardening. Everything he does is extreme." He was like, "Let me send you some seeds of like these giant veggies, these giant whatever, and we'll have like a contest to see like who can make the biggest." He's like, "Dude, I don't have the space. Like, I don't have room to do any of this. Like, people ask me like melon and pumpkin questions all the time. Like, dude, I don't have space to grow. It takes a lot of space to grow pumpkins and watermelons. I mean, if you're doing it right. I mean, I've seen people trellis them on the fence, but like it takes a lot of space. Like these growers, usually what they do, like especially like guys like him, they'll go and they'll like cut it down just to one fruit, and they put like cardboard and like tarps in it. I see people shade their pumpkins and stuff like that, and it's crazy to see how much they grow in like a day. It's insane. Like it's
pretty amazing.
I don't know how they don't just split. Like that's how it would happen to me. Like I would grow a giant pumpkin and it would be just split. I
I
did
used to grow pumpkins.
How big is your lot? How big is your lot?
Well, see, I expanded, and where I was growing my pumpkins, I threw a bunch of more raised beds in there because I gave up on pumpkins because of the vine borers.
Yeah.
Like it was just so. I'd have these giant pumpkins. I'd be so excited, and then one day I'd go out and they were just dying on the vine. They had bugs in them and everything else. I was like, this is not worth the space. I could be doing so much more stuff here.
The dude is challenging me. He goes, "You can grow a 1,200-pound pumpkin in 150 square foot." Like, yeah, that's the entire 150 square foot. Like, that is the 1,200-pound pumpkin. I have nothing left.
You have one pumpkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
One day I will do it. I did have a chance. I think I could have done it if we didn't get an early freeze a couple years ago. My goal was to beat the world's tallest okra plant was like 20 something feet. Like not really that tall when you think about it. And what's funny is when you go look at the record, they ran it. It was like pencil thin, and they ran it up the side of like a 3-story building. And they had it like up with bamboo and stuff. Like I had that motherland okra, and it was like inedible. Like you couldn't do anything with it. It was the worst okra I've ever grown in my life. But it was about 16 feet tall. It was about 16 feet tall, and I was like, I bet I could beat the record. And I didn't have to trellis it; it would have grown on its own. But we got an early freeze, and it just, dude, it was like an oak tree. It was insane, dude. It was nuts. Yeah. So maybe for the greenhouse, y'all can break one of those records, Vikram, since y'all have a big old propane heated greenhouse.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think we'd run out of roof space. We're not that tall.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Have to grow it out the top, like through the roof vent.
Yeah. No, it's funny because like I was watching one of Michael Fiore, Smith's Garden Towns videos, and I guess they had a fiddly fig that grew from seed. It fell in the gravel, and now it's like as tall as their greenhouse. Like it's so cool. It's so neat. And I've been experimenting with doing some water propagations, and fiddly figs are like the easiest thing to propagate in the entire world. It's like the easiest thing ever. Figs in general are really easy to propagate, but like that fiddly fig is insane. Like I put it in water inside of a Topo Chico bottle. Within 2 weeks, I've got roots. Like that's it. So I mean, it's nuts. But well, guys, I have had Joe for almost an hour, and I have a storm coming through my yard right now. And the winds are getting pretty bad. I will cut this at about an hour tonight. Real quick, everybody let everybody know where they can find you, what you have going on, if you have any events. We'll start with Jeremy. Let him know if you got plants for sale too. Still.
No, plants sold out in 2 hours, which was awesome.
Wow.
I was glad to be done with those things. But yeah, you can find me on pretty much all social media, Dirty Punk Gardening.
Fantastic.
A lot of projects coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I highly recommend going to check out Jeremy's video on how he made his metal raised beds. It is really entertaining. It's super easy. I think I could do it. Maybe not.
You better do it.
But the end product looks really nice. The end product looks. I don't think mine will look as nice as yours in the end. So, Zach Wartiska, let everybody know where they can find you. You male model.
Yeah. Yes. Seed farm table pretty much everywhere. Yeah, come check my stuff out, guys. I'm all over the place, but I try to give everybody a unique experience of where their food comes from and what it takes to get from the farm to your table.
Absolutely. I had to say that I watched a story, like it was one of your stories, and it was one of your seeds. So, oh my God, it was one of those, one of your sellers or whatever. It was like a store owner, and he was like, "Ladies, I just want to let you know I just had the most handsome seed guy come in and drop off a load of seeds. I would have let you know he was here, but I didn't want to make you swoon, I was like, I was like, oh my God. All right. So, well, thanks as always, Zach. I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Mr. Vikram, let everybody know where they can find you, and also shout out your book.
Oh yeah, I got one of those. Where did I leave that? Yeah, Plants to the Rescue, kids book about plants and nature and climate change and stuff. It's fun. It's positive. Our illustrator is dope, and he came up with like just some of the best stuff. So you can
His
get it anywhere.
portrait of you is nice. His portrait of you.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm especially fond of my little
Your avatar.
cartoon me.
Yeah.
He did pretty good on that. This was about 20 hamburgers ago, but yeah. So I'm the plant prof, pretty much everywhere. Starting to do a little bit more long format stuff, or I'm going to be doing some long format stuff on YouTube. So if there's ever anything you want to know, grafting techniques, planting techniques, whatever, I'd love to hear that. My podcast is Planthropology, and you can find that anywhere too. And this is a super early shout out, but Destin and I will both be at the Texas Nursery and Landscape Association meeting in August.
Yes.
So if you happen to be there, we're trying to cook some stuff up, and you should come find us.
Absolutely, and I'm going to promote that once we get more info. It's mostly industry people. I like the TNLA, the Texas Nursery Landscape Association Expo, but we'll be at the hotel. So, like, if you're in San Antonio, you might be able to come to the hotel if you're like a fan or whatever. But we're going to do a live podcast. I've already talked to the TNLA people. They will have a spot, and we will live stream a podcast in person. Probably have our buddy Jay White come on, and maybe some other people. So that'll be a good time. So,
cool.
And speaking of your illustrator, I reached out to him because I want him to make me some stickers. I want him to draw. I want him to illustrate me stickers, and I like his style. So
yeah, super cool. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, he's a really cool dude. Brian
Lambert,
yes, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for coming on. It's always weird. I feel like I'm cheating on my boyfriend Phil, but I appreciate y'all coming in and cuckolding him and holding down the garden party. Have a good one, and we will see y'all next Thursday.
On that note.